Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the and then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm gonna be all puffy. Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live.
There is a such thing as a singles tax. As a single guy, I get it. Everything is more expensive. Everything is almost doubly expensive. Your rent, your mortgage, double the expense, because theoretically, if you with someone else, they would have pay half of that. Or maybe you pay all the mortgage, but then they cover the groceries and maybe car insurance or some other utilities. So you kind of find a way to split it. When you go on vacation, a lot of times you go on vacation, you get a room that's for 2 people. It costs less overall than if you're going by yourself. Now, food is a little tricky because food, you have more mouths to feed. It can be more expensive, but I guess you could think of it like if it's you plus someone you're with, maybe you have some kids or something, you go to Costco, you buy in bulk, and instead of the food going to waste, you're saving money by buying a lot at once as opposed to buying little meals here and there.
Why isn't anybody talking about the single tax? It is significantly more expensive to be single, to the point that it's like economically irresponsible to cook when you're single. It costs $75 to make a meal, not to mention the cost of running the dishwasher, washing up all of the pots and pans. And then what am I going to do? Eat lasagna for 6 days? When I could use Uber Eats and one of their various codes each week to get a salad for $9. Imagine paying half your rent because you share your apartment with somebody, half your electricity bills, half your cable, Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, subscriptions. When you're going to the airport on a trip, you don't have to pay $70 for an Uber by yourself because you're splitting it with somebody. Forget saving money on a Costco membership. When am I ever going to use 36 apples? It's honestly the only argument I have for getting in a relationship. It is expensive to stay single.
It's funny how a lot of people just want to remain single. Like, no one wants to deal with anyone anymore, it seems to be. That's the case. At least that's what it seems like to me. I could be way off base. She mentioned a lot of good examples that could be a lot less expensive if you are with someone. She also brought it up from a perspective I didn't think about, which is just a green perspective, as you could say. I'd never thought about it to that level of, okay, if you're living on your own, you are affecting the environment more than if you have multiple people. Because every time you run that dishwasher for yourself, as opposed to a bunch of people, you're, I guess, harming the environment more if you think about it that way. Or if you're living in, it requires more cars to be on the road or more homes or whatever. So I never thought of more waste, I guess. So that's an interesting perspective that you put there. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. I'll be curious to know what you think about, does it seem like everyone is just preferring to be single and the people that are arguing together are doing it either because they feel like it's a necessity because they need someone to split costs with, or obviously because you want to make a family, which is a valid reason obviously to get with someone?
I feel like nobody's talking about this, so I am going to. Why is this that being single is actually so expensive? I have signed up for every hobby you could think of. I have gone on yoga retreats, I have signed up for surfing, I have signed up for pottery, hot yoga, hot Pilates, sitting at coffee shops.
That's why you're always broke.
I physically have been trying to pour into my cup and fill up my free time, but I didn't know how expensive that this was gonna be. And I physically and financially can just not anymore. I don't know what else to do. I can't believe that this is what life has come to.
So I might be missing the point of what she's trying to get at. Is she saying she's doing all these things to find someone to get with? Or is she saying she's doing all these things because she's bored and she's single and it costs a lot of money? I'm kind of confused here. Because she's doing a lot of stuff that costs money regardless if she was in a relationship or not. I'm going to go from the point of view of maybe she's bored because she's single and she's trying to find ways to fill up her time so that she's not bored. She's saying it's expensive. And if she was with someone, maybe they would just do things that are less expensive. Maybe hang out a little bit more in the house and watch movies. I don't know. Or maybe these things she wants to go do, they can split the cost of it. As a single guy, for example, you know, I tend to want to get out more and go hang out more and meet people and do stuff like that. Whereas whenever I was in a relationship, I didn't do as much of that. We would go out and, you know, have dinner, hang out and do things that are fun, but I didn't feel as much of an urge to do it. So by result of that, I spent, well, it's kind of a wash because when we did go out, I spent most of the money for both of us anyways, to be honest. But nonetheless, let's say that you guys, you know, you and your partner goes 50, or spouse or whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, go 50-50, then it probably would end up being less money to be with someone in that case than to be single.
You can have a partner and whatever, but if you ever choose to be alone, if you ever want to respect yourself and not just settle for bare minimum, if you want to release yourself from a toxic relationship, it will be very, very liberating, but very, very expensive. Goodness me, what, 5 years? God, and that's not 5 years single. I've not been 5 years single, but 5 years not living with a man. And it's been amazing, but it's been so expensive. So there's rent or mortgage if you guys do own a house. And, you know, that's all me, you know. I don't rely on any benefit system. It's just me paying the rent, you know, 1-bedroom apartment. It's pricey. And then, you know, all the bills that come with it. I feel very liberated, me here with my cat. My cat that I've only had like for a matter of months. It's just a lot, like, and there's food. Got to think about food. Lately I've started meal prepping because it's just really much cheaper in the long run.
So I was going to skip over the stereotype that she just put on full display there about being a cat lady, but I mean, I have to address it just because it could not be addressed. But anyways, that aside, I mean, everyone should respect himself. If you're in a toxic relationship, yeah, you should leave it, obviously. Not every relationship is going to be bad. Maybe she's been burnt and she's been through a couple of bad ones and she's just throwing her hands up and she's like, forget it, I want to remain single. And now she's seeing that by doing that is very, very expensive.
Still, the food shop every month is expensive. There's the unforeseen expenses that you might have, like, I don't know, something breaks, so you might have to fix it. And the fact of it is, like, yes, I could have had a lot more savings by now. I could have bought a house by now, but travel is my priority. I want to see the world, and that's where spare money goes to. That may not be the best decision for everyone, but it's the best decision for me because travel is the best therapy in the world. And then the social life as well, like friends have birthdays and you got to go to that, and people are getting married these days. Like, every time someone gets married, be prepared to pay like well into the hundreds. And then the prices of everything are just going up. I do not look down on anyone who chooses to live with their parents. If that's what suits you in adulthood, fair enough, all the power to you. It's just never been, that's not an option for me. That's not something I would want to do. It's not really something I can do.
Okay, so listen, everyone is free to make their own decisions and do what they want. That's the beautiful thing about this life that we're in, or at least for a lot of us that are blessed to be in that position. And she's already said what is important to her, and she prioritizes traveling. She prioritizes what she considers as liberation, and so that's cool. But nonetheless, this video is just to point out the fact that as a single person, and it's not talked a lot about because I guess no one really cares. It's like, boo-hoo, you're a single person, go find somebody or go live with somebody or get a roommate, right? Bigger things to worry about, and I get that. But there is still such thing as a single tax. You know, living in a society that was built for couples and built for families, not necessarily built for a bunch of single people running around, if we're being honest. And that's where you get this whole thing. I think the real cheat code is to become a dink. Dual income, no kids. And not say to never have kids, but to say maybe you get with somebody and for a few years, maybe 5 years, you guys just combine your resources and you stack up and you invest. To me, it's like the best of both worlds, because now you have somebody, hopefully you like, and that is not stressing you out and causing you to be unhealthy. And you guys combine your resources and you have half the expenses and you can just level up, put a bunch of money into investments, get yourself set, travel, have fun. And then when you're ready, if you want to, then you can start a family or whatever. But you know, that's probably a much better scenario than being a single individual, no kids. But hey, you know, to each their own. With that being said, guys, you made it this far. I really appreciate you. Feel free to give the video a like and to subscribe if you feel so inclined, because it helps with the algorithm and I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.